Welcome to a fantastic mixture of European and Middle Eastern culture and architecture, to a city where over 50 million people live, to a city which lies not in one but two continents. This is Istanbul, and in this video we'll try to find out how much of this Goliath of a city can you explore in just 3 days.
Our hotel was located pretty much in the city center, so we moved around on foot all the time, and in the first morning we headed right to the closest historic site. Our way led through a bazaar, but we didn't buy anything, that's only gonna come later. We reached the first site of the day, the Blue Mosque. Unfortunately, it was being renovated, and it was still full of people, so it wasn't really an enchanting experience, to be honest. Actually, the whole area was just as crowded as the Blue Mosque, including Istanbul's probably most famous historic site, the Hagia Sophia Grand Mosque. Even though the mass of people thronging inside did take away from the experience, you could still feel the vibe, the energy of this majestic building. As I was walking inside these colossal halls, I had an unexplainable special feeling, and that honestly impressed me. Also, quite obviously, everything about the inside of Hagia Sophia is simply just magnificent. We carried on, and the next stop was the Gülhane Park. This is Istanbul's oldest public park, and it's one of the most expansive as well. Also, this is where I'm going to talk about why the best time to visit Istanbul is when we did it. Every year during the month of April, there's an event taking place here called the Istanbul Tulip Festival. In this time of year, the whole city blossoms, and it's not just tulips, there are all sorts of other flowers as well. Walking in this park almost felt like walking in paradise. Only that there were way too many Adams and Eves. And at some point, some random important people literally drove through the middle of the park in their convoy. Anyways, the next site was the Topkapi Palace. From the 1460s all the way until 1856, this place served as the administrative center of the Ottoman Empire and was the main residence of its sultans until the 17th century. The palace complex consists of 4 main courtyards and many smaller buildings. Today, the whole place is a large museum where you can easily spend hours by immersing yourself in the Turkish history. We ended our first day by visiting the infamous Grand Bazaar of Istanbul. However, we're only going to explore the bazaar in more detail the next day. The next morning we set out for one of the coolest destinations, and we didn't even know. Hidden beneath the houses and buildings we see on the historical peninsula, there's another mysterious world. This is the Basilica System. Built in the 6th century, this is the largest from the several hundred ancient systems which lie beneath the city. You are standing inside this enormous hall with these tremendous columns, imagining what would happen if all of a sudden the whole cistern got filled up with water again. How could you get out? Okay, you're probably not imagining that, but maybe you're imagining the amount of water that once fit between these walls. It's 80,000 million liters, in case you were wondering. Anyways, the best part is yet to come, because suddenly all lights go out and you're about to be blown away by the most amazing underground light show you've ever seen. In case you've seen so many underground light shows. Anyhow, this experience is second to none, so make sure you don't miss it out if you visit Istanbul. We moved on and returned to the Grand Bazaar. With 61 covered streets and over 4,000 shops, attracting between 250,000 and 400,000 visitors daily, this is one of the largest and oldest covered markets in the world. Here you can find everything from carpets to jewelry to spices to souvenirs to Turkish desserts and even more. The Grand Bazaar in Istanbul is often regarded as the first shopping mall of the world. After leaving behind the bazaar, we crossed the Galata Bridge because we wanted to explore the other side of the Golden Horn. Following a nice short walk, we made it to the Galata Tower. It was built in 1348 as a watchtower, and with a height of 63 meters, the view is indeed really good. Unfortunately though, we couldn't see it for ourselves since the queue of people waiting for the entry was longer than the Great Wall of China, so we just left instead. Our walk led through the Istiklal Avenue, which is a pedestrian street, the most famous of its kind within Istanbul. The name, which means independence, commemorates the declaration of the Republic in 1923 after Turkey's triumph in its War of Independence. Here you can encounter the iconic red retro tram, which is the most recognizable transport of the city. But it's mostly just a tourist attraction these days. It's called the Nostalgia Tramway. Another impressive sight on Istiklal Avenue is the Church of Saint Anthony of Padua. This is the biggest Roman Catholic church in Istanbul. At the end of Istiklal Avenue, we arrived to the Taksim Square, which is considered the heart of modern Istanbul. In the middle, there's the Republic Monument, which is meant to commemorate the formation of the Turkish Republic. The walk back to the waterfront was quite enjoyable, and we had an idea to discuss for the final day. For our last day, we decided to go on a Bosphorus boat cruise. We got on board in the Golden Horn and then headed out to the Bosphorus itself. The first site we reached was the Dolmabahce Mosque, which was built in 1855 close to the palace with the same name. Soon we got there too. The Dolmabahce Palace was built between 1843 and 1856. Following its completion, it became the new main administrative center of the Ottoman Empire after Topkapı Palace. During the 3 days we only stayed on the European side of Istanbul, but at least on this cruise we had the opportunity to see the Asian side as well. At a certain moment we just found ourselves in the middle of a boat race. Like literally, there was a boat chasing us on the left, another one just edging past on the right, and then a little bit further on the right, a massive cargo ship as well, passing us slowly but steadily. It honestly felt like a race, and the next bridge would have been the finish line. However, if this was a race, then we certainly would have retired, because we didn't go past the bridge, we stopped right before it. Everyone got off the boat because there was a 1-hour break. Sadly though, the Rumeli fortress was undergoing restoration works, thus we couldn't get a closer look. So we just spent the time walking on the waterside and chilling. Then everyone's got on board again and we were cruising back to the Golden Horn, but this time closer to the Asian side. After the boat cruise, we decided to return to the Gülhane Park. Apparently everyone thought of it as a perfect spot for some afternoon rest. Well, it definitely became my personal favorite place in Istanbul, an island of peace in the middle of a bustling megacity. How much of this city can you explore in just 3 days? Not too much, probably. Nevertheless, Istanbul is truly a remarkable city, and with even such a short time spent here, an exceptional experience is guaranteed.
This is where I'm going to end this short 3-day long Istanbul trip with you, and see you another time, another place.